Feature Friday.
The freshest. One of our favorite movies that we have ever seen, ever.
I love this movie by
This
Jirama
movie is
Stani.
great. I love the feel of it being in acts, in sections. I love the feel of this being super cinematic and royal. I love that it's expensive.
We do have a Feature Friday Plus podcast on this. We obviously have opened the channel on movie reviews.
Yes.
Currently we're reviewing Barfi. I do apologize that we had to break it in parts on that one. It's only, like the next part's coming this Friday, but it's just, we're currently really busy because we have 1MX coming up. It's the biggest Filipino music festival, and we're so lucky to be involved and to open for them. So it's amazing. But one of the songs that we actually, when we did a review of this, we wished we would have done a full review of this performance in the movie. Is Mohe do Laal.
Because this is, I know that you all know, but I want to share the knowledge.
Well, hopefully, I know we have viewers from all over the world. It's such a ginormous part of viewer is from different parts of the world.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But this is their their second meet cute, right? So this is when she formally gets introduced to Bajirao, which is really cool because it already sets the bar very high to what you're about to expect later on in the movie.
Yep.
So it just visually speaking, it has depth. It has magic. The color hue being a Sanjay Leela production is just absolutely magical. The golden and the yellows and the browns, they're just so alive.
Let's
but yeah, let's go ahead.
let's review it. And what was I gonna say? I don't know if this was CGI. It seems from what you guys told me that this was real. However, like if you look at the previous one we did, which like Shreya Deepika from what the fuck was the movie? Padmavat. That was actually all a studio.
Yes, I know. They recreated everything
Because of some they wanted to change specific stuff, and when it comes to like history and stuff like that, that's obviously quite difficult things. You have to get approved by so many people, and then it probably causes controversies and stuff. I hope at least, I don't know if it was a success or if it was a whatever you call it, a box office failure. Let us know. It's interesting. We probably will review it at some point, but let's get to this. I've never seen so many fucking sitars in my life.
These freaking fountains, yeah, those fountains are magical. I never thought a mustache would be that handsome.
Bro, the ending of this movie can suck my dick. It's so, my God, dude. Like, he loses his mind, motherfucker, really. But it's so accurate. Like, that's what would happen to a man of war. It's something that no one talks about. It's the same as, like, when you see these fighters. They're going to lose their mind at some point. Like, God bless them. Like, fucking for everyone's... In this point, it wasn't everyone's entertainment. It was everyone's fucking freedom. But anyways.
Just look at the veil between the water.
Okay, so straight away, one of the reasons why I think this scene is probably one of the most special ones, not only in the whole movie, but probably one of the most special scenes we've ever seen in our lives, is because it's very difficult to sort of interpret sounds and visual cues because everyone...
Simultaneously, yes.
Yeah, also everyone has different interpretation of things. Like, for example, when I see greenery, I don't necessarily think of... let's just use it as an example, right? Like when we see flora and fauna in movies, I don't necessarily think brighter scales. Personally, I think of Mixolydians. I think of much more darker scales. But for some people, they might fucking think of fairies or some shit. When they're, fireflies and all this stuff, when they think of flora and fauna, they think colors, flowers. I don't. So when you look at a movie that has resonated with so many people, and they have been able to depict through musical notes and the musical score perfectly what the environment might sound like, and what the representation of feelings,
and intentions, hidden subtext. I think that's what's so clever about this movie. Right. That at first glance, it's a great historical telling of the love story.
I do know it's not accurate. It's not very accurate, but it's entertaining nonetheless.
Entertainment. But I love that the subtext here is so prevalent. Like everything about this, every symbol, every element in the scenes has a reason for being there. And in this particular case, I love that even the sequences in which she's offering herself, letting him know that she's there for his entertainment.
She's
For the
traveled thousands or hundreds of.
he has. This is in her kingdom.
Oh, this is okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, she's welcoming him into, this is my world, and I'm gonna take you by the hand. It make you see the magic of it as you sit there and watch. And I think that there's a beauty behind that. But I love that even in this sequence, it's segmentalized. So the introduction of her coming into the main center of the stage is actually veiled by the water. There's other elements of dancers in the background throwing colors in the air. There's set building, twinkly lights, and kind of like chalk flying around. And all of these things are just kind of playing with the idea you haven't seen her yet.
Yeah.
You haven't seen her to the maximal extent. And now you have. Now you're about to. And then focus. You see? Brilliant. Oh, it's just so brilliantly timed.
Nothing in this fucking movie, man, like it's done by, like it was luck. Like from the minuscule drops in beats, you see the explosion in colors. Yes, of course, that's probably the most obvious, but they're not so obvious ones are these ones. So the tabla has a very peculiar what would you call it, attribute to itself, that it actually, and I did research these thanks to you guys, it actually was there's histories in mythology in which gods would communicate through the tabla, through the sounds of the tabla. I don't know if it was gods or if it was this parable of this person in the forest, but there are, someone's thought of this. It's not just fucking me who've clocked this. So
it like speaks, the rhythm speaks.
that's right. It has a high tone and a low tone, right? So
he breaks reports and sometimes he holds it. Yes.
So listen to the I wish I knew what each fucking tabla was called, but I don't, because I'm, learning still. So she has juxtaposed the low end of the tabla with a high movement. That's fucking genius. Because that's essentially who they are as people.
Yes. They are the opposites of each other, correct?
Yeah, both religiously, different kingdoms. He's fucking wed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's fucking great.
It's
like,
brilliant.
everything is fantastic. Again, I don't know what instrument that was. Let me hear it again.
But then you see the water bubbling, and it makes you believe that
I don't know what that might have
like.
been. Like if this was a Western composition, you probably would presume this was a chimes. It means Spanish. The actual literal translation would be curtains, but I think in English it's called chimes. In India, I don't know what the fuck they use for that. It pisses me off because I guess my feelings are not matched up yet, or my enthusiasm is not matched up yet to my knowledge. But yeah, obviously the glaring of the water is the representation of the chimes, I guess. Let's call them for that for now.
She's so flirtatious and inviting, though. I love that. Have a moment. Let's pay attention to the singing phrase in this particular part.
Just a Shreya Ghoshal singing, by the way.
Yes.
Fuck me. How could we forget that?
It's just a perfect combo. Deepika as the face, Shreya as the voice. It's just so good.
Probably one of our favorite, it seems, sort of combinations of
actresses and singers.
I wonder if they feel like that as well. Like,
definitely.
When they look back at some of these pieces, and they sort of look what they have achieved. Obviously, Shreya in India, this very popular concept, like being a playback singer, and they look at the work that they've been able to do, because she's essentially being Shreya, and Shreya is essentially being Deepika. I wonder if when they look back at their work, do they really feel the magic as well that all the audience felt? They've obviously partnered up before, a lot now. So I don't know if she's spoken about it, but do let us know if they have spoken about that sort of partnership they have.
It's interesting. Like I said, in this particular singing phrase, you have a lot of mystery, a lot of mischief, kind of like carrying through the subtext and the melody. And the melody is actually just as mysterious. It's just as deceiving. You really don't know what you're about to get yourself into. And I think the mystery and like the uncertainty of the singing phrase itself is really prevalent in this particular entry.
Mate, what it is attraction, because that's what attraction means, is curiosity.
Yes,
you're attracted to something if you're curious about it.
But this is not just curiosity, because the curiosity has been ignited with the veiling. You can't really see her face right at the beginning, and I find that that's what the curiosity lies. But in this particular case, you're kind of like you're gonna jump through hoops with me.
No,
and I like that.
It's gone beyond curiosity. It's now attraction.
Oh, nice.
That's what I think it is, right?
But listen to it. You see? Unpredictable. It's brilliant.
I don't know if that's a bansuri, the flute, or if it's not. Okay, so then we have a break from vocals, right? Which are really intriguing again because given the fact that it is a Sargam, right? You would presume with Sargam, given that it's so highly percussive, right? It would maybe perhaps only be utilized in moments, and not of tenderness, but moments of conflict, moments of action. But again, this is why this is such a really, really good piece. You can utilize rhythmicality to also signify things like your heartbeat, excitement, forefront of moments. You can justify emotions which they are linked to positive emotions, but you can feel nervous and anxious to meet the love of your life.
I do think, Efra, this is actually a forthtelling of the war that comes with the two of them, the conflict that comes with the two of them getting connected, like understanding that their attraction is beyond just attraction, that they're about to make decisions that they will maybe regret, maybe think that they could have done differently. And in this particular case, this Sagam section, to me, it reflects that the forthcoming of conflict, the forthcoming of the consequence of this pairing. It's not just the flirtatious.
I think you might be correct.
Essence of it,
because if you look at some of the freeze frames, one of the most what would you call it, consistent elements in the whole movie is actually water.
Correct.
Again,
we talk about it
in the review.
In depth. Yeah.
Water is a really interesting element in movies. It can be used for many metaphors and many meanings: purity, rebirth,
abundance,
cleanliness. God, cleanliness. It's been used in many forms in cinema. In here, you are of course seeing it's not a natural, it's a man-made stream in a fountain, which has beauty. The beauty aspect of it is really important to me because beauty shows purpose. You don't make something beautiful unless it wasn't made. Very few things only in nature kind of have beauty. And that's actually, I think it's an argument, it's a theological argument for the existence of God. I learned it in philosophy, Beauty being one of evidence for the existence of God in philosophy. And here, given the fact that sort of religion is such a big deal in this movie, you can utilize this or perhaps derived meaning that because it is so perfect, everything is so perfect, but also man-made. The juxtaposition to that would be, and that's what the Sargam represents, war, conflict. There will be turbulent waters and not streamlined, perfect, beautiful streams that you have manipulated somehow. No, that you're seeing right now.
Yeah.
What you're seeing right now won't be forever.
Well, I actually, if you deep it, if you go even further with that analogy, the fountains are manipulated by men. So the essence of it being done purposely, manipulated in that sense, it's a foretelling of the manipulation that happens later on between the women in the story.
Notice how the fucking water is actually, I didn't notice this until now, it's present in every fucking shot.
Every shot. Yes.
Every shot, be
Every
the foreground, background, holy fuck.
Yes, it's everywhere. It's great.
Such a banging song as well.
Also, the break on the fourth wall is so prevalent. Oh, look at him! Whew.
There isn't one bloody shot where water isn't prevalent.
Whipped.
All of
he
them.
was bewitched
and
bewildered by this woman.
I also think like
Don't blame him though.
I think Deepika might be one of my favorite actresses of all time in the aspect of her ability to communicate. Yeah, truly, her ability to communicate through non-verbal cues.
I agree.
That
Well, there is verb, there is lyrics.
No,
she
no.
is telling a story.
Sure, but she is. Well, look at it in this fucking way. What is she saying, Bali?
I have no idea.
There you go. Got the motherfucker. You know? So she's essentially the best
Yes, no, I agree.
non-verbal communicator.
This is for the sake of the
That's
argument.
fucking unreal. Not only because
No, I
she's
agree.
attractive, whatever. Shame she's married, yeah. Would have definitely shot my shot. And missed, probably. But that's what's so interesting about her. Genuinely, she might be the best non-verbal
agree.
communicator I've ever seen in my life.
I do agree with that. I think there is I also do think this type of filming techniques are so good to
Perfect
her
for this.
her abilities. They really they're like tailor made for her
It's
charm.
a team effort for sure.
It definitely
it's a
is.
team effort for
I
sure.
think the director Sanjay Leela just saw exactly the perfect charm in her, the way that she communicates, that it highlighted it even better. Like it brought it right to the front. Like the fourth wall breaking is not new to Bollywood. Like it's not a new concept. It's
New
not
concept
something,
for us, unless you haven't come
it
from
is-
theatre.
Exactly. So, and even in theater, it's actually quite intrusive.
That-
of a
That's fucking bizarre. That doesn't happen in Hollywood. You do that shit in Bollywood, it's Hollywood, and you get taken off.
Well, the thing is,
Unless
like,
it's Deadpool.
I don't think it's been explored many times before the last decade. I think because it's a technique that can feel very intrusive. It can feel very invasive into your watching experience because it's like they're invading your perspective. They're invading all your senses, and I love that because in this particular case, it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't break the wall. It actually pulls you in,
That's
which
right.
is so freaking cool. Again, big props to the whole of this production.
She's unreal.
It's just incredible.
She is fucking unreal.
I love the sound of the bells in the background. When she turns around, you see, it's so freaking good.
Look, no other instrument does this. Listen to the tabla again, bro. That's a fucking. What the fuck is that? That's like a suspended note. Yeah,
It
but
talks,
that wasn't.
it speaks.
But that
yeah.
wasn't present in any other beat in throughout the whole song. And then you think that's just an accident, but it's not.
So deliberate.
And also interesting, like with the singing phrases, right? Sometimes you have like the singing phrases play towards unpredictability, towards which seems to be quite common in Indian classical. Of course, perhaps unpredictable for us because we don't know the rags that well. But
Well, at all. We don't know them.
well, I guess we
We're
might
familiar.
know some of their like their names or something. But yeah, we're very, very, very new to it. So Shreya plays to the unpredictability in terms of vocals, and then Sanjay Leela, or perhaps just the musical score overall, plays towards its predictability. For example, in this section here, just listen. Ta-da-dun. predictable pathway in terms of notes. But Shreya singing fucking phrase, that ending is not natural.
That's not resolved.
That's not a resolved ending. However, the musical score does
Ends
resolve
it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're playing this whole game in this song of juxtapositions, contrasts, male, female energies, ungodly, godly, man-made. It's very, it's such a smart piece, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck? It's so beautiful.
But you see, there's that ending is so cool because there's an elated feeling to it. It's like celebratory, but it's really eerie at the same time. Conflict. You see, they never lets you settle, and I love it because that's exactly how the movie feels.
Well,
like
that's the best depiction of what the fuck you're feeling there. You don't know if she's like going to cry, elated beyond belief.
Yes, I agree.
Or
it's just
overwhelmed in happiness. You know,
it's funny though because I think by this point she knows who he is because I think he saves her. I think she tries to steal from him and he comes to her.
Well, the way they meet the way they meet is she goes to his tent.
That's right.
He's at war and he's negotiating and all this shit, and then she
tries
sneaks
to steal,
in.
Yeah.
Well, she threatens to kill him. And then he's like, you don't really have it in you, kid. You know?
Yes,
and then,
I remember
but it turns
now.
out she's just as strong as a character. This is how you build a strong female character, actually, in cinema. And
she kicks ass.
Yeah. And
she's a kick-ass
she's a
female
warrior.
character.
She just chooses not to anymore because she's in love. It's the same as him. However, he can't do that. And that's why he loses his mind. Who's the best character in the fucking movie?
Her. Fucking her.
Yeah,
she's so strong.
She makes the ultimate sacrifice because also her kid.
Yeah.
You know, spoiler alert. Everyone's dead. Fuck this movie. Forget everything I said. You know, absolute horrible ending. But I probably think is, what
it's a
should have
masterpiece.
happened. But anyways, I don't want to ramble on too much because I don't know how long this is. We should probably have a look at the lyrics because I just want to highlight a couple of things lyrically. Of course, it would be not doing justice to the fucking song if we don't at least have a look at the lyrics in English. Again, this are going to be translated, so I do apologize if they don't probably do it justice. But it is a semi-classical, yes. Birju Maharaj is doing the tal, the one he's doing the saga. I didn't know that. So good to do some research with you guys live in the moment.
Color me red.
Color me red. Don't tease me. Just color me red. Color me red. Interesting focus on that because actually you never see that color palette play out throughout the whole fucking scene. I see you.
You do. It's Is the chalk?
Chalk is purple.
No, Efra, that's red. It's red, papi.
Well, in her hands.
It's the same they used to do. It has a name. I completely forgot about it. But it is. And actually, if you pay attention, the underlying color hue, it's burgundy.
Oh, it is red. Yeah, burgundy. Fucking I'm even colorblind. I see that shit purple. He twisted my wrist, turned it. Maybe I am colorblind. I see that red, though. No, I will do a test live, yeah? He twisted my wrist, turned it, because my father's colorblind. I'm pretty sure those genes don't die. Twisted and turned my wrist, spangles were broken, and when I lugged, he hugged this green scarf of mine and snatched it with a jerk. I was colored green in the color of Krishna, with my cheeks turned pink with shyness. Beautiful.
And it repeats. It is actually so deep.
So it's actually, just given, but in lyrics wise, it's much more classical inclined because a lot of, classical songs don't have like the sort of verse, chorus, bridge,
structure. It's
verse, chorus, outro sort of structure.
It's more like a mantra.
That's right.
Like a loop, repetitive kind of like lyricism.
So, Hari
Verse
for the
prose.
color green as well as Lord Krishna. Figures of speech where words are used for two completely unrelated meanings, such as Laal for the color red and for sun. Perhaps she's asking for a son.
Yeah, foretelling of what's to come.
Because back in the day, it was a bit more like if you did get married, that essentially meant you're having kids. You're gonna have a family. That's basically probably should be. Because the world, world's population is going like this, and we're all gonna die soon. Anyways, let us know what you guys thought about it, and adios.